Hi, this is Jim Cranston from 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com, the podcast and website by, for, and about baby boomers. Thanks for joining me tonight to talk about living towards your goals every single day. So let's get started. First, I do want to tell you that tonight is being pre-recorded. A bunch of things happened in my life in this week. So be aware that if you're looking at leave a comment or something, you probably won't get an immediate reply because I will not be here when you're watching this. I'll be actually off doing some other things, which I'll talk about in a moment. But if you like what you hear, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. If not, please drop me a line as what you'd like me to cover. So tonight's another extemporaneous night for a variety of reasons. Work, of course, I talk about that fairly often. Work ran late and then ran even later because my last call was with someone who's a friend of mine, so we ended up chatting and all. But tonight is also the last night of rosary for my church friend who passed away unexpectedly at a very young age, a week ago Friday. And so that's actually happening right at the same time the normal podcast time is. And so I really want to be there for that. And it made me realize in a lot of different ways, I've thought about this and talked about it before, but just how precious a gift that life really is. Because this particular person, she had no reason to expect that Saturday she wouldn't be around doing things. And yet, obviously, things changed tremendously a week ago Friday for her. And so it really made me think a lot about how and why every single day matters in a lot of different ways. It's not just in what you're getting done per se, but it's everything that goes around that, how you treat other people, how other people perceive you, forming your legacy, a legacy in a really good sense, as in how are you leaving the world? Are you leaving the world a better place, a more fun place? Are you leaving smiles behind you? Will people want to emulate how you lived and think about you in a fond way? And it's not just about me. It's not in that sense at all. But certainly, I think most of us, anyone who's listening to me and listened to me for a while, realizes that I feel strongly, and I hope you do too, that one of our purposes for being here is to kind of make life better, not just for ourselves, but for everybody all around us. And so that got me thinking in terms, of course, what we always talk about, which is life goals, life satisfaction, envisioning what you want your life to be like. And it led me to think about, so why would you want to live your life like really living your life doesn't start until you're older and you reach your final goal? You can't really start doing things until you retire or until summer vacation comes around or only once every 5 years when you take your big vacation or whatever it is. Why wouldn't we want to live our life to the fullest every single day? And we've talked about that in some things, but with my friend's passing, it really got me thinking about it even more because it seems like every single day, right, we would want to celebrate another small step towards our goals. And it can be an infinitesimally small step, but the really important part is it's a step towards our goals and not a step in neutral. And so if we're just hanging out thinking, well, tomorrow I'll do this, or next week I'll do this, or by the end of the year I should really do that, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but think how much more fun things would be if when I got to the end of the day, and I'll show you something. This is a little piece that I'm making up, and which I talked about a couple of weeks ago, and the prototype has been mostly done, been using it for a while now, and I'll go over it in more detail next week. But at the end of the day, right, this one I don't think is really filled in yet, we have the last two items are the summary of today and then, things I want to think about for tomorrow. And there's lots of other things in it talking about the good things that happened today, what people affected me in my life today, and how did it affect me, and why were they positive things. So it would seem to me that if I had a choice of how to live my life, I would want every day rather, to be something that ends with fun, something that makes us smile at the end of the day. And so the real obvious solution then is to live every day like we've reached a little piece of our life goal, and that helps us to live life with a little more purpose and to celebrate the win at the end of the day. Remember, we talked about when we celebrate our wins, our mind gets all excited and goes, hey, what I did today was a good thing. I'm going to do more of that tomorrow. And that naturally moves us forward and into our goals. So we've often talked about that, but now going back to the reasons this is going to be kind of a short visit tonight, when it's put in terms of unexpectedly leaving the earth, then the real importance becomes all that much clearer. Because what could be better than every single day we're able to celebrate a little or a big win and doing something that matters to us, something that adds value to our lives, something that adds value to everyone around us. So I would encourage you to always live every single day with your goals in mind, to make even a teeny bit of progress towards your goals and towards things that make your life feel satisfying. That way, every day can end as a successful and more satisfying day and just something that makes you excited. If you get to the end of the day, go, wow, I can check these things off my list. I made this person happy. Whatever it is in your life that makes you feel good, and you'll know that you're moving ahead in your life and moving towards how you really want to live your life and how you want the world to be. Not towards something years in the future, but towards something that every single day brings you rewards. So, and like I said, I am finally finishing the daily planner. Obviously, like any daily planner, it's customized to things that I find useful. And I'll go through this in more detail, but this is a half sheet of paper. So an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, folded in half, front and back. And it's all set up. There's a free Canva template, and I'm going to have my people go through and spiff it up a little more. But basically, the front page is all things setting the tone for the day, and to wake up with a positive affirmation and things to help, like I say, just really set the tone in a positive fashion for the day. If there's something special going on that day, you can note it here. It's just kind of a reminder. And for me personally, it's no shock to you if you listen to me at all, that in this particular case, I have today's gospel, but you have the Canva template. It'll be free. You can change it to whatever motivating thing that you want to put there. The inside, we'll go through the inside. Two facing pages, a little different than most planners that you'll find. Got to get the other page there. One of them is the most important thing you want to do today, and the other things that are in your day, and then what people are important in your day and why, and the good things that happen for today. Then the other side is kind of like a planner, but it's not really a planner. It doesn't start off at 9 o'clock and go to 5 o'clock, and it's basically just an area where you can write things down that are important for you to that day. If you want to put meditate for 15 minutes there, or whatever it is that strikes you for that day that's important to you, that's a place to write that down. And then just a general place for notes at the bottom. Like I say, this is a quick go through. We'll go through it in more detail and how I suggest you might want to consider filling it out. On the back, a lot of these ideas, by the way, I give credit where credit is due, is from the people who Tim Ferriss interviewed in Tools of Titans. Like I said, I find that book very useful. I find Tim is awesome. Love Tim. Think about him often, appreciate all he does. And in there, some people had some really good ideas on how they run their lives to make them feel more satisfied. I don't want to use the word productive. This isn't really a productivity thing, but just to make their lives more satisfying. One of them is just a place to put ideas. Any ideas that come in your mind, whether they're good ideas, bad ideas, silly ideas, just ideas that pop into your mind. And so, and challenges that came up for today. And then very important at the end, just a little space. You can make it bigger if you want. Again, it's going to be a Canva template. You can take it and run with it. But it's a summary of today. Just a few short words, a couple sentences about how did today go, and what was memorable about today, and what brought a smile and positive things into your face. And if it's a challenge, I would suggest that you don't put that in the summary today, and you put that under new challenges. We're really trying to separate the things that require more work and then the things that are positive, because it's pretty rare you don't see something positive throughout the day. And then finally, a place to put what you want to think about overnight to give your subconscious just something to do overnight and really think about it. And I say there'll be more about that next week. I'll go over it, and I think that's probably about it for the day. So, that really is what I wanted to go over for the evening. Excuse me. I said, just a quick note, quick visit. This will be scheduled to go on at 8 o'clock, and I'll be tied up with other things. So please remember, again, as always, please remember the war in Ukraine is continuing. UKR7.com. If you watch, it comes by all the time. UKR7.com. And be adding a link to the World Kitchen. They do food, and like I said, winter's coming in Ukraine. They're in the Northern Hemisphere. So just just something where if somebody's looking for a way they can help out, there's ukr7.com is a page full of links to other people providing aid to the people of Ukraine during this war. And I think that's about it for the evening. Like I said, super quick, wanted to stop by. If you liked what you hear, please hit the like button, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great week. Please remember to live the life that you dreamed of, because that's the path to true contentment. Love and encouragement to everyone. See you next week on 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com. Thanks so much.